Hello and welcome everyone to this afternoon of Campus Party Digital Edition the Netherlands. We're here with Jay from Ozone. Jay is a really enthusiastic web XR developer for over 5 years already, the founder of Ozone Universe, a platform that can revolutionize education and events. At least that's what I saw. I've been trying it out for the last couple of months and I have been very enthusiastic about it. So I am here to welcome you on stage. Jay Asatki from Ozone Universe.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you, Nick. Hi, Nick. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. If you want to do anything like screen sharing, just let me know and I will be backstage for you. So,
Okay, thank you. Yeah, ready to screen share. So let me go ahead and start that. I'm here to talk to the audience a little bit about one of my favorite topics, which has to do with the mobile internet. And I made this little paper or essay on Medium a few weeks ago, just reflecting back on actually a paper I wrote in college back in 2001. And this was when I was back going to college at Cal State Fresno, so CSU Fresno in California, Bulldogs. And it was one of my very first papers about Wi-Fi technology. And so a few weeks ago, I had this thought process at night, just wondering, are we living something similar? You know? And so I made a parallel between how back in the 2001 we talked about mobile internet and how now we are basically experiencing the migration towards mobile XR, and that this might have some really deep implications. So let me go through that very quickly. Back in 2001, when I went on my essay, it was talking about Wi-Fi technology and how different countries back then still had different standards. But there were two big takeaways from Japan, where people were already using mobile internet a lot for different early applications, including social chats. And the takeaways were that the evolution going from a fixed internet to a mobile internet is not the same as going from fixed phones to mobile phones. And that the mobile internet revolution was going to have profound impacts on human interaction as we already had noticed it in Japan. So let's take a look at those very points very quickly. So mobile internet versus mobile phones. When the mobile phone became cellular, what happened is we went from calling a place to calling a person. Okay. When the internet went mobile, what happened is we basically our reliance on the web, if you will, mostly to find information, went from being in one place, which was a desktop or the library. I remember going to college back then and always having to go to the library to access the internet. But then when the mobile phones came in, it was like, oh no, the data is right there at your fingertip. And one of the big things we noticed in our study in Japan is that people moved to start looking at their phone rather than talking to their phone. And the access of data anywhere was going to change how we interact with each other and how we handle information overall. With now every bit of information from any space and time available at our fingertip. So then it, it kind of reduces the interpersonal interactions because you're constantly handling this data stream or information you're looking for at your fingertip. So, in a fundamental way, right here, we're looking at kind of something similar happening. And again, this is just a thought experiment, which I wanted to share with everybody because this might be one of the most important things that is happening now in this decade, just as the mobile phone was 20 years ago. And it has been 20 years, so it's a really long time. And when I look back about the very first mobile internet to now, I mean, the change is tremendous, you know? I remember back in 2001, who would use their phone to browse the internet, right? Who would go and see a web page online? It was, yeah, the browser was there, but I'm sure that Google Chrome or Safari were not used as much as they are now. Mobile. Right now, everything is mobile, right? Uh, Not 100%, but everything is mobile. Um, and so what we've noticed is since 2015, when we've been researching and developing Ozone Universe and our 3D web technology, we came to realize, oh, we can do 3D in the web. Hmm. Maybe we should do all virtual reality and XR in the web because this way everybody can have access to it, right? So, how can I say? Imagine to piggyback this concept of piggybacking. I know we have control and listeners all over the world here. In the US, we have this expression called to piggyback, right? It's kind of to keep on going where somebody else left off. So think about this. First, you had the home phone, okay, and the cellular phone came in and used the same concept of a home phone and make it mobile. So far, so good. So the cell phone piggybacked on the normal phone. Now, with the internet coming in, that was on a computer, and now it has a cell phone. So the internet piggybacked on the cell phone to now itself become mobile. And now we have the 3D and virtual reality, which in a way, in maybe in a funny way, is itself piggybacking on the internet now to be mobile. Which maybe we'll make an infographic about this, but I just think it's an interesting way to look at this. And so there you have to think pretty deeply. We have to think really as a species pretty deeply, and this is probably beyond my qualification, but we need anthropologists, we need social studies folks, we need ethnologists to come around and really start looking now at what maybe this virtual reality everywhere will do. How will having a mobile headset like Oculus Quest that costs $100 in 2 3 years change our society around the world? I think the world is today where Japan was with mobile phones in 2001. The world isn't with VR today and XR, where Japan was with the mobile phone in 2001, meaning it's there, yeah, people are using it, yes, but it's not nearly what it will be in 10, 15, 20 years from now. And just this thought experiment is really fascinating to me, how time will implement. So, yeah, so here in the article, it's very quickly XR. I'm sure most of you know what XR is. But it's an umbrella terms to talk about 3D immersive technologies. Um, okay, and so exactly, they've been historically tied to a physical space until now. In the past couple of years, we've seen the first unplugged system. So here I'm really referring to more of the mobile headsets coming in. Um, in our case, in a way, we've been mobile all the way because we're deploying the web. But I think really the implication is to have the head-mounted display replace the mobile phone, right? Um, Oculus Quest is the first untethered one. There's like two or three more coming in this year. Uh, and so this interesting thing is we already pulled the plug, right? It's already happened. So the Oculus Quest already happened. Now it's just a matter of watching it expand and get its market share and a couple of generations coming out. So the current Oculus Quest will drop to $100 and be commoditized all around the world, just like mobile phones were. And then what will happen, we don't know. Well, everybody will bid on these things most likely. Uh, we think, and not we, from some of our sources, that eventually the head-mounted display will replace the mobile phone. Because once you have a head-mounted display that's as inconvenient as a mobile phone, and that has everything you can do on a mobile phone right now, including mobile apps and so on, why would you carry both? So maybe a couple of generations out, uh, 4 generations, so maybe 4 years. Um, Yeah, so what it will do really is this is some of the assumptions, right? What do we think will happen? People will enter VR much more easily. They'll become much more performing or cheaper. They stop being tied to PC, so no more fixed VR. Everything will be remote VR. Devices will become more and more accessible. New generations become cheap, of course, just like mobile phones. Uh, More people taking their VR headset along with them in their backpack, just like they take their PCs now. I had an interesting experience in London, doing some demos with our partners there, and just pulling out, sitting at a restaurant and pulling out the HTC, not the HTC, the Oculus Quest, and started to run some demos there. And people look at you around. We were the only person with that. I bet by next year will be two, maybe next year will be 10, and soon everybody will have their VR headset along with them. Uh, it will become much more common and easy to get in and out. Just like you open an app, just like you're in a meeting with somebody and say, "Excuse me, I have to take this call." You'll be able to say, "Hey, hold on, I have to take this call," basically, and turn around and get in your VR headset and meet somebody anywhere in the world. And it becomes true across society. And I think this is really, really important, guys, as I'm talking here to what I think is a global audience. And again, I want to really highlight Nick's efforts and his wonderful team to bring together such a great talent, pool of talented speakers, but mostly the audience, because this is all about you guys who are coming in here from all around the world, and just listening in, just and to me, this is really, really important that this becomes global across society, especially worldwide. Maybe if we do a decent job, it could happen a lot faster than the first digital revolution, which was the internet, the old internet in a way, in our mindset. So in Ozone, we've been working on 3D internet for the last 5 years, and our entire objective has been to recreate the human web experience and interface. And 3D, we saw it as a new platform. It's become virtual reality. It is virtual reality in XR. What's really interesting here is we think this should happen much faster around the world. So everyone listening from anywhere in the world is an ambassador today. Anyone listening to this talk or attending any of these XR events, conferences, being plugged in a way, is becoming the new 1%. The ones who know about these new technologies, who can actually usher them into their countries, their communities, their families. So just like right now, I'm able to say, oh, back in the 80s, my dad had us a computer at home, or in the 90s, you'd be able to say to your kids and your grandkids, hey, in 2020, we were the first ones and we had the first virtual reality headsets, and now, you know, it is. We think this will happen for sure. Uh, Hypothetically, head-mounted display will end up replacing the phone altogether, and at some point in the 2020s, we get a breakthrough augmented reality glasses. That's Zuckerberg. So that's it, guys. Couple of interesting things. It's a lifestyle choice, right? We should ensure that this new digital revolution enables us to do things more efficiently. For example, I will show you a quick thing here on one of the things we do. We have another tab open here called Meeting One, and this is our one of our meetup rooms, right? So this is the meetup room, meetup hall, and so I can log in as my avatar and actually sit back and attend the meetup. Take a seat, attend the meetup. This is from one of our partners in the UK, and one of our partners here, Conscrum, one of the largest blockchain meetups in the world. And this will be a meetup environment where you'll be able to log on to the URL and basically hop right in, and experience the meetup. There is the other part, which would be more like for education, as Nick was mentioned.
Yeah, so you
Through
can. use the web, right? You're using a browser. Can attendees and people over here also find a way to get a demo or give it a try?
Yes, absolutely. So we are in a full system update right now. We're deploying a lot of micro campuses, but the one you can check out now is ozoneuniverse.com. So you can just come into ozoneuniverse.com, and this concept of being able to log on to virtual reality in the web, we think will be very important because we cannot recreate the large scale conferences using just the old paradigm of internet, right? We have the limit of how many screens can be on at the same time. We have the limits of, you know, how people can talk together in the middle of an event. How can you do a breakout session? How can you step out of your your group chat? Right now it's two of us, Nick. It's easy, but if we're
Yeah.
25 people, how can I take two people aside and talk to them?
Yeah.
And for us who are in the 3D XR space, we know about this kind of limitations. But for those who may not be as versed,
So let's get in there together, man. I would love to see how like the spatial sound and that is working.
absolutely, it's really getting there. We have it all that dialed in now. But and I look forward to collaborate with you, Nick, as well on solving this somehow because what we need is people who have this experience and background in organizing the large scale conferences
Hmm.
to sit around the table and tell us, okay, what is the best? How many campuses do we need? Because we cannot hold these kind of large scale events anymore. We're happy to announce that we're working on a few events currently for a few thousands of current currencies. Our first event we're launching in September,
Yeah.
just because we're preparing properly. Too many platforms are offering different experiences now, um, each with a limitation. We want to be able to kind of delay but provide an optimal experience. So
Hmm.
our concept is to recreate real large scale conference events which don't work in video. The current VR solutions have pretty hard caps on attendance, and we have these different solutions as far as having special 3D display, but it's also on devices across the board. So this is the campus concept. Any kid in the world should be able to log into this classroom and or this campus and meet somebody right here. For example, there's somebody in the campus I can see now.
No.
That's you. Hey Nick, how's it
No.
going? So that's Nick. And then
Yeah.
we can say, okay, you know what? Hey, let's go to this briefing room, which will then take us to a
No problem.
maybe a classroom where there will be the actual presentation, the keynote, the teacher, and giving his talk. Um,
See if I can share my screen too.
Yeah, and I want to give a couple of minutes. I don't know if there's any solution for audio. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. So that's
Yeah.
us right there. And so what's really cool is I can also come up here and start having a huge number of people into the same room. Um, for instance,
Yeah. That's
we're
cool.
looking at bringing in 200 people, 400 people, and really pushing the limit. What's interesting to me is how can we bring this amount of large numbers, thousands and thousands and thousands of people to attend an event. And we might need to do some integrations with platforms like StreamYard and others out there.
That would be
Um,
cool. So you can
yeah,
you have your live stream in here, like we're doing now. Oh, I'm flying.
yeah, can get out there. And I'll show you, actually, I'll send you a link for some stuff we're about to launch so you get to see it little before. Um, so, any questions? How do we take questions from the audience? Any live comment?
Yeah, there's someone next to me who's he's a very big enthusiastic about AR and VR. It's
Howdy.
Raul.
Hi, hi, hi. I can see what you're doing. Amazing stuff. I'm a little bit of a designer, and I think your world is such traditional build. I imagine some futuristic stuff, and it's all big buildings and stuff. Is that on purpose, so it's recognizable or whatever, or is it just not in that stadium right now?
No, you're totally correct. We have a lot of different designs in the pipeline, but this is for more corporate clients
Oh,
where folks are really in the mindset of business, going to work, uh, going to a campus for school or a virtual headquarter as well,
mhm.
which is why we keep it a little bit more corporate oriented. Um, we're talking to quite a few government agencies and large conference organizers. And so these are business environments, right? These are business environments. You notice also the avatars are all dressed up in suits and everything. Um, but we have a few more options. I'll show you, for instance.
Burning Man, we heard.
Yeah, so we have the what we call the Playa, which is a Burning Man event coming up in coordination with MetaBurn, our partner out of
Yeah.
Florida. Let me very quickly, since we're here, but I would love to show you a couple other things. Let me share my screen. A couple other very quick things. So, for instance, this is a space environment, right? So here is a little bit of a less typical one. This was an intro for our website, so we can talk about our team, the next generation web. This is a new way to like introduce yourself. We have a marketplace component coming. Very interested to help brands move into the web XR. Where you can browse to discover the team up here,
Yeah.
right? So this is definitely not typical, right? We're more in space, and of course the playa is right here, so you
Ah,
can
the
see it a
Playa.
bit of the
Playa, like something for
yeah,
Burning Man.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
great.
yeah, exactly. So
The man.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's right up there. I think it's yeah. So that's kind of the whole playa experience.
Where
And
can I
we actually have events now. Let me see if we actually connected these events.
find
Uh, yeah, it seems to.
the
We are
Playa?
really just. Sorry, guys.
Can I already go to the Playa with you?
So I would like to send you the link. I just giving you guys a preview for the show. I can catch up with you in the back channel, and we can talk actually even about getting you guys involved with us. But the official opening is coming at the end of the month, actually. So this was a sneak peek preview.
Yeah.
Um, there is many virtual walls, official virtual walls being done by Burning Man and with our partners MetaBurn. We're one of the official camps, if you will, and
Right.
we're one of the only ones on the web. So we're hoping to, by doing it in the web, we're really hoping to be very inclusive
Mhm.
and accelerate the adoption of XR technologies around the world. Right.
Do you have experiments with the physical element to attach with sensors or heat or wind or water? Did you do? Is that something you were looking for?
So you're talking about physics,
Yeah. Yeah,
like
the
physics.
of your physics when you are in the virtual world, you can feel the heat or you can feel the water or wind or
Yeah, like temperature.
Mm,
sensors.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know what's the term for that, but there's many things out there. There is the smell, right, and
Mhm.
the heat, as you said, and the wind, and honestly, from my experience, there's a lot of R&D in that space, right? And usually each company does one thing. So you have one company doing the wind, uh, one company doing the smell, right?
Mhm.
It's a hard one. You know where I've seen the most of those was in location-based VR. When you go, for example, to a place like VR Zone in Japan, Shinjuku, and they put you flying, and then there is the big wind and little water sparkles and things. For home-based VR, I think most of those are still at the level of gimmicks for the most part. Um, I think haptics is where we see the best progress with the bodysuits and the gloves. There's many progress in gloves.
Yeah.
Because these other sensations involve quite a lot of hardware or an environment based. It's not a glove you can put in your pocket and take there, right? You need to have this big fan blowing the wind. Uh, but I mean, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, your web-based content is for you the most important now. The web-based part of the
The
virtual.
content, we think at the end, like everything else, content will be key, right? And as we're going through these generations of VR, the devices are changing. By building in the web, our content is static. So we've been able to build on the same engine in a way for the last 5 years, when game developers had to kind of build for HTC, then build for this, build for Steam, build for that one, build for Quest. For us, it was always one engine.
Any questions from this chat? Nick?
Yeah, there are people coming in and out, but I really hope that they are not scared to use the live chat for you. They are able to ask questions and everything. So we hope to see some questions popping up from the audience. Feel free to join us in this conversation. So Jay, you are working on the Burning Man Festival as it cannot go on like it used to be in this year, and it has to be a virtual event.
Well, nothing is going on as it used to be in this year, right? Even
Yeah,
grocery shopping is not going on as it used to be this year for anyone.
yeah,
Um, so, no, having such a huge gathering of people happen the same would be ludicrous, right? It's just not all the large conferences, which is where we're trying to bring value by saying, hey, we can build multiple rooms upon rooms and an endless amount of virtual worlds, if you will, as part of your experience to handle an endless amount of concurrent users. But no, Burning Man is a great community event right now, where the community is pulling together. 10 different platforms have been chosen, called the official multiverses, and I think Phoenix covered some of that yesterday. So the this is one great festival, and the reason we're really excited about it is because of the art component. There's a lot of artists, and I think artists are and educators. I mean, everybody is suffering, but artists and educators in a very unique way, because they rely on being with folks, right? Especially certain types of educators. Um, an artist, relies on his gallery and being there and talking to journalists and talking to, sponsors and sell his art to folks. So we really hope that our platform will help enable a lot of that.
yeah. So do you already have some tests of art running, or is it actually art in VR, like drawings in VR?
So I'm happy to report both of them, both of the above. So we have the drawing module that's coming in nicely,
Oh,
as
cool.
well as the chat feature and everything else. We've been doing a lot of work, but I was just talking with one of our art directors yesterday. We should focus on bringing in existing art. I'm really big believer that all the existing knowledge in general, but art assets should be brought into XR as an archive, right?
Yeah. So
Uh,
now we have the internet to store a lot of knowledge in text, and
it
now
is.
you have the 3D world, and you can
Store
store.
exactly, totally, Nick. And the good news is we can organize existing files, even your Word document, your PDF. We can build these virtual libraries, and you can actually have the PDFs going around, and we can search them.
Like, read it out, that you just stand there and someone is reading the whole text from that book for you.
Yeah,
And you
text
go
to
to
speech,
sleep and
speech
then
to
you sleep.
text. Yeah,
I,
totally.
I work with students in mixed reality, and I show them sometimes to present their art or their work in a virtual way. Is that a possibility in your system too?
Yes, so that's another thing coming up with where folk can upload, where the user can upload whatever they want. So they're able to upload and share from their desktop images. We'll start with images, then eventually other different types of files. But we think if you're preparing, an image should cover most things, right? Because even if it's a text or PDF, did you guys know a PDF is an image file? It's actually a kind of image file. So images usually cover use cases. Yes. So yes, absolutely. And happy to, if you're working with kids, we're happy to set up like little environments, especially for them. And we'll be happy to sponsor it and make it available for trial. And by the way, anybody in the audience around the world, especially if you're in anywhere in the world, really, it doesn't matter. Um, and if you feel that you could use a virtual environment in the web for especially education or art, please reach out to Nick and let's
Great.
sponsor something for you guys.
So you said a virtual environment in the web.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
each one of those scenes I've showed you is a different application altogether, right? That can have its own login page and its own set of scenes inside of it. So let's say we organize a Nick Van Breda campus. And so there is one main campus with 10 auditoriums, for example, or 10 meeting rooms. So that's own virtual world, and you can make it available for classes or educators if you like.
That would be
Yeah,
really, yeah. So we need to get education on board in this. I'm a I'm a big fan already, Jay. So I'm looking forward to try out your new features, like sticking post-its for my hackathon events, like these things.
yes, yes. As
Like,
early as next week. As early as next week, we should schedule it.
yeah, that would be great. So all of the things that you do in a group session physically, like it's still drawing in 3D is pretty hard. Like if you take the pen,
Yeah,
I would ask if you want to draw in 2D or in 3D. I would recommend implementing 2D drawing
yeah.
first because people are not used to 3D drawing at all, and
Yes,
no one can read it. It will be like backward.
yes.
We have to get used to that world. Uh, and artists, yeah, they will probably go for 3D right away, but maybe they want something in between. Like if you are painting, that painting doesn't have really a lot of layers. It's
Yes.
only a very small centimeter or so.
Yeah, it's 2D. No, it is 3D. It's not even 1 centimeter. It's one dot, right? It's the depth of the canvas. And this is a really good point, Nick. And if we're opening that conversation a little bit, it's a very interesting concept that every 3D scene, okay, at any one given moment is a
Yeah.
2D drawing, right? So
Yeah.
even if you have the 3D scene, if you put the camera and leave it static there, you don't move the camera, it is a 2D image, right? You take a screenshot of it, right? And then you move the other side and you get another static. So what's really making the 3D effect is the motion of the camera. And so in a sense, yeah, any art, see, there you go. You look at this like this could be just 2D and then, no, anyway, so just,
Yeah. So do you
Yeah,
think of 3D?
what if kids, young kids, learn to draw in 3D in VR? Or yeah, maybe they have to learn. They are not used to the 2D effect, so they
exactly,
develop that. Maybe that's a nice research.
exactly, exactly.
So I forgot how to choose avatar.
Oh, you're in the world now, Nick.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Ah,
Double click. So there's a lot of spaces already that you have in here. Huh?
Yeah, but this is a little bit of the older version. I gotta tell you, there is there's a whole new one that we're actually pushing this weekend. So I hope all the audience can come back around to ozoneuniverse.com, and we will certainly come back through, with campus party and Nick, and we look forward to just honestly, our goal is to enable folks, right? Enable people to have access to these experiences in a very easy
Mhm.
way. You have nothing to download, you never have anything to update, and we need leadership. in different communities to actually enable the youth, as we were talking, to get acquainted with these technologies early. And it's even more important in the third world than places where folks are already behind in a way, in many, many ways. So many
Mhm.
kids don't have access to internet, never been on Amazon, never shopped online, never attended an event like this. I mean, this is the truth of the world we live in. I lived in Silicon Valley for 18 years. I'm now in Colorado, and I'm so lucky and blessed because we take all that for granted. You know, I lived weeks and weeks upon weeks never handling cash, not driving, using the Uber, getting food delivered, DoorDash. Uber, DoorDash. There was an article about this one time. Everything is with the mobile app. you know you need stuff, you go on your mobile app. You need whatever you need is digital, right? But we forget 90%, if not more, of the world, you know they're still on fifth generation phones, 3G. I've been to places around the world where 2G,
Uh,
people,
50% of the world connected to internet.
and so, and even having a parents who are in the 70s now, and greetings to them. I just got to understand something. Even if you give some of this newest technology to the older generation, there is a limit on how they're going to use it and how much they're going to absorb from it. And I don't care if you're in Japan or in the USA. You know, if you're 70 years old today and you have a mobile phone in on your hand, the latest iPhone XR, whatever,
Yeah.
and there's another millennial who is 15 who has the same device, you are not having the same experience. You don't have the same reality. You're not living the same thing. You're not doing the same thing. Okay. Maybe as a 70-year-old, you're happy on your WhatsApp and your Facebook because you can see your grandkids, and they call you and you can do the video and everything.
Yeah, but they're not acknowledging the power of the new, yeah,
You
mobile
know,
devices.
and by the way, I'm not diminishing anything from our seniors and our parents and everybody else. This is not. I'm not saying this in any negative way. No, 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 at all. Actually, I think it's really important for us to understand this because the youth coming in behind us.
The
I have a
terrorists.
daughter who is 4. Man, I see her dealing with the tablet, and I'm just unbelievably amazed what she does with these games. At 4, 4.5. And then we see some of the new creators, right? The new content creators on these apps. It's like, oh my gosh, how much time are these kids spending on these devices, right? uh,
Yeah.
and so here the idea, and I want to live on this. I know my time is way past due, and thank you, Nick, for having me, but I want to live on this message. This new XR platform is an opportunity. XR, virtual reality, 3D computing, immersive computing, as you want to call it. This whole 3D stuff is a new opportunity. It's a new opportunity for everybody to visualize data, exchange data, collaborate around data in a new way. And because visual, it's so much more inclusive. You don't need a special language to see a 3D, icon. And yeah, we've had icons in the web, but it's nothing like 3D space, right?
Mhm.
So welcome everyone to
I
the
think,
beginning.
yeah, I think if you look at the emojis that we use to communicate all the time, yeah, if you already put them in 3D in your virtual reality world, then people will choose. Oh, now I have the angry face, and now I'm the happy face, or now I'm the sad face. That would be so nice already. And now we see there, it looks like there's a lack of avatars, but it's just because they haven't been digitized to 3D models yet, I think.
Exactly, exactly. We have about 16 new avatars coming in the pipeline. Avatars is a very interesting issue, but the emoji is even more interesting to me because it's how you express your avatar, right?
Yeah.
And what we've seen so far is kind of a little bit corny. What we see in the US corny. It's kind of okay. It's cute, but you just get the emojis popping on top of the avatar, the hearts, the smiley faces, and so
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Um, we think there may be other ways of using emojis in the virtual world, like a
Yeah.
new type of emojis, right?
Yeah. You have eye tracking already. Yeah. If you look down and yeah.
Yeah, so you could put it on the avatar. There could be some interesting ideas. And Nick, I just want to again acknowledge your great efforts and contributions, really. Um, I,
Yeah. I'm like a test person for all these platforms now, so I'm looking
no,
forward to give you
it's
some.
amazing. You're doing amazing work, and I know you're already a legend in the Netherlands, but you should be a legend around the world if you're not yet.
You're in Colorado, right? But
Yes, yes.
you're living there, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm a U.S. citizen, proud U.S. citizen, and lived in Colorado. I just moved here from Silicon Valley after over 18 years in Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Moved out here to more nature and mountains and
I hear the words. Yeah. It's a.
yeah.
Can you show us around? Like, can you show your garden? If you have one. You don't
Sure.
have.
You guys just sit around the house here.
A
This
little.
is our little
Yeah.
4th of July spirit out here.
Oh,
Uh, with a beautiful blue sky up here. If you guys can see it, maybe. Oh,
oh, beautiful.
a little bit. But you can't see much here. As soon as you step out, the mountain range is right over there,
Hmm.
and
We don't have mountains. We're jealous.
yeah, beautiful mountains and a lot of hikes and camps and trailings. And
Yeah. So they have
so,
a question here. There's the first question actually in the
oh,
chat.
what did you have to do to become a citizen? Thank you. So that's that's a great question. Things have changed quite a bit over the last going on almost 20, more than 20 years now that I've been in the US. So I don't know what it is, but there is, Noce, there is a website, uscis.gov, and that's where you get all the information for. Uh,
But
but before, right, we should just want to be able to come visit now because the borders are closed. So,
yeah, yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah, I was about to get some visit from Silicon Valley, like San Jose, and she was about to come over, and then she said 3 days before, I think I have to cancel this trip, and she did. Otherwise, she was going to be stuck in the Netherlands from March onwards to now.
yeah.
Come
Well,
back.
maybe you didn't want that either. I don't know.
Maybe that wasn't a bad thing for her, but that was like going to be a roller coaster ride. Now, yeah, you're opening up the borders now in the virtual reality world, so I'm excited for that, and that we can still meet each other in person. Like it feels like you are there together, and that's I think yeah we are missing that in intimacy and social cohesion now in the real world as these new borders are in place.
Hmm.
And if yeah, it's like a saying of Jason Silva, like borders actually having borders is closing the opportunities to share ideas to come to a next point in life, to come to a next learning in life. So closing borders is so bad for the economy. It's like the worst thing you can have.
And human exchange, you have a really good point. The impact of human meeting together, right? Yeah, we can do a lot of things digitally, but there's some magic that happens when two people are together, right?
Yeah,
Um, I think we're learning to overcome it with video now because
I think the video is actually not really giving us that feeling. So
of presence for sure. That's
yeah,
where VR comes in, of course.
with VR, I don't know, but I feel much more in that moment.
Yes. Nick, I want to ask you a question too, since I'm here. I was thinking about this yesterday. Do you feel we're still very far away from mass adoption? Because most likely there's still just a fraction of us now.
I
Yeah, for VR.
think we need more of these platforms. I think Bella is doing a great job on getting the standards like in place, like Second Life. People that used to play Second Life, they go on to Bella. I think, well, it's actually a better alternative than meeting each other on Zoom. So I think that's a stepping stone. I think I'm an innovator, and I'm always looking at trends and technology that is 10 or 20 years ahead of the curve. But I learned that you're neglected if you stay 20 years ahead of the curve. So I moved 1 feet back in the old world, and like the mom's test, in your mom's world, to be able to understand and explain in a simple way on what becomes next for her. While I'm already over there, I really don't want her to miss the opportunity to adopt. And that's the first step is like Virbella, and the second step might be Ozone Universe and Mozilla Hubs, and then the third step, well, maybe Rec Room, or big screen, like watching movies together. Now you see Netflix Party. It's like watching a movie together, and with big screen, it's like feeling that you're watching a movie together. I think
Hmm.
you have to make these small steps to actually get mass adoption much faster. And so you don't need all the like the Second Life creators in PlayStation VR and all of that. You don't need that big of a step. But I think these platforms like PlayStation, they are helping tremendously in getting the mass adoption, because that's a large amount of people. So if Apple or Microsoft starting to do something,
Yeah,
like Microsoft with Altspace, they don't do any development. It's
I know.
bad. They could have done it. Like if you are getting certified for Microsoft, you're certified uh, with like Microsoft Office. There's no certification for Altspace. There should be a training for becoming certified teacher in Altspace.
Hmm.
If these certifications are coming from these big corporates, everyone has a Microsoft computer or an Apple computer, so that would help a lot.
Totally. Yeah, I did a thought experiment on this one time. Why is it not the case? Why aren't they pushing so hard? It's maybe the same reason why Facebook is pushing so hard, right? But which is contradictory, right? So some are not doing, some are doing, but because they have this
Um,
existing infrastructure, right?
I think it's a nature thing. So you have physical banks and you have online banks. And
Yeah,
you have a physical computer, a Microsoft computer, or an Apple computer, a physical, touchable thing, and that's their focus on staying on that.
exactly.
You have, Facebook never was a physical thing, so digital first.
Are there enough logical examples to transform the developers' way of looking in VR to the citizens' way of looking in VR? So the examples for watching a movie are endless, but examples for watching in VR are tiny and not well known in the great community. So I think that needs a step to adopt for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm happy to announce we have included a we call a stream room.
Yeah.
So the stream room is exactly that experience we're talking about, the movie theater, the watch together. Right now, we're keeping it to streams. So any live stream.
Like this one.
Uh, yeah, we have Twitch, Facebook, YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Is this on Twitch?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, so you can send me the Twitch link.
On Facebook and on YouTube right now.
Yeah, if you can text me the Twitch stream, we can put it up right now and I show it to you. But
Oh, really? Okay. So I will link. I will put the link in the chat.
um, but fundamentally, what we're looking at is the idea of creating this social viewing experiences, right? And I can put it in there for our team and everybody to keep watching the event because I know I'm running out of time. But the idea of social, okay, doing everything we're doing in the web, right? Whatever we do in the web, but do it together in VR, in the web. That's
Mm.
kind of what we're trying to facilitate. Um, so events, conferences is where we're beginning. Retail, shopping, commerce is really next.
Yeah, I think the add-on, like API add-on, like SoundCloud being available in VR, like now you see with Google Poly being available in
Yes. Oh
Mozilla.
yeah.
These
There's
add-ons
so many.
help so much.
So many
Like,
APIs, Nick. I just had a call yesterday. We had like 15 APIs we want to integrate, and a lot of AI too. AI, blockchain. Um,
so,
we really think this virtual world will need all the ingredients.
but what do you do with AI and blockchain for now?
So we've done mostly R&D so far to this point. We've done some prototypes. Um, blockchain is a we look at it like a
For logging in?
so that's the first step actually to log in, create a blockchain ID along with the user ID, and then
Yeah.
you just get your event stamped, right? You just get event stamped, and so getting event stamped means that's what blockchain is for, right? Blockchain is designed to mark an event. Something happens, it's registered in the blockchain. You know, Nick gave $100 to this person, boom.
Yeah.
And so we want the blockchain to be a sovereignty kind of an operating type platform that runs in parallel with the virtual world. So there's three systems. There's a virtual world, there's a blockchain system, which stamps events in the virtual world triggered, and then there's the AI, which is kind of a wrap around it all, which is kind of your assistant slash recommendation engine.
Yeah, like Amazon is doing. This product is recommended for you. This room and this movie is recommended for you.
So recommendation is the low hanging fruit. I'm very interested in AI powered cybersecurity, where there's actually almost like a sentinel AI that's keeping an eye out for things, you know, kind of a superhero AI.
Facebook thingy, like if there's someone swearing, if there's someone putting like dead bodies, uploading dead body
Yeah,
photos on
yeah, yeah.
this kind of AI. Okay, so
To
just
terms and conditions, yeah.
yeah, to make sure that that the platform is not being broken down by those stupid people.
So here is when you get into the privacy and thing, and for us, privacy is everything. So in our system, we don't keep track of any data or like track user data. And we think this is really the biggest opportunity of the this new internet is number one, be more inclusive, right, of
Yeah,
everyone, and share the opportunity of the web for everyone. And number two is to really avoid the mistakes that happened the first time around, you know, with privacy, with data breaches, with security.
yeah. So you can either do track nothing or go blockchain right away.
Yeah, well, you don't have to track if you're using blockchain. Remember, when you're using blockchain doesn't mean you're tracking. It just means you're stamping the event. Now,
Yeah.
yeah, it could be open source or not. I mean, we're talking about this. I'm very interested to connect more with you, Nick. I know the time is. I should really.
Edward Snowden. So he will talk about cybersecurity in 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah, man, and wow, I'm the talk before Edgar Snowden.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what an honor! What an honor! If Ed is listening to this at all, um, I think he's spot on across the board. I just want to say how great of a human being I think Edward has been for all of us,
Yeah.
and the price he's paying. And it's really sad to say to what extent nobody gives a shit. You know,
I think
like
the effect of him is that Facebook is now like being really hit it in the face with all the privacy claims. Like every day they get
it's
like
gonna happen. It's gonna happen, but
sorry, 30,000 new claims from the Netherlands alone. So there are people are signing up, like signing petitions, and then they are sending all the claims to him.
oh yeah,
So that's
totally.
all the results of one person standing up for
Yeah.
the rights of privacy, and that's I think Edward Snowden.
Yeah, that's him, and there's also Julian Assange. I want to mention Julian Assange as well, just
Mhm.
because these two guys to me they're just like heroes, and they're paying a very high price. They're paying a very high price for what they've done, and nobody gives a shit. You know, they are the ones who are paying the price. You know, we out here roaming free. You know, doing our thing, celebrating Fourth of July, whatever. But you know, they're not, and to me this new XR opportunity is really a chance to honor a lot of these guys too, because we can avoid all this. We can hack all these problems around the interface. A lot of this stuff can be hacked through the interface.
Mhm.
And we're talking to some of the top cybersecurity guys actually in the world to implement this new protocol of security and privacy. Because if we can build security around protecting the user, not protecting the platform from outside attacks, that's the platform's job. But protecting the user data from the platform itself,
Yeah.
right? Where we really, this is what decentralization comes together, where everything is fully owned and managed by the user. And Jaron Lanier too is another guy who talked about the internet experience and how you can make the users participants, right? Not commodities. And that's what we're all about. That's our goal. That's our mission. We have a business plan for it. What you see is just the rendering engine, but under the hood, we have a lot of mechanisms of sovereignty and user data protection, uh, different monetization models, which we hope will help usher this new era of computing and honor the vision and the hard work and the price paid by those before us. So I'll close on that.
That's great. So thank you, Jay. If there's any outro video that works for you, what kind of things do you like the most to do in your free time? Like what kind of experience and adventure? What kind
Me?
of, is it? Yeah,
Like right now?
yeah.
Just sleep. If I can catch up on sleep, no, I'm just kidding. Just working too hard, too late all around the world. We have teams from
If
Japan.
you say sleep, it's probably a nice hotel and some swimming pool, like a
Yeah,
relaxing
yeah.
experience.
So I like to get away with my family. I like traveling indeed. So yeah, I like to go out and like maybe get a nice resort somewhere for a few days and for a few weeks. For the past couple of years, I did 40-day trips. So that was another thing I really like to do is go off 40 days somewhere.
Yeah.
So done a few, done Japan, Central America. So I think when you spend 40 days in a place, you really kind of absorb that place.
Hmm.
There's a saying that says, "Who spent 40 days with the people becomes of theirs."
Yeah.
So I like that. I like cooking and going out hiking around here as well.
Hiking. Well, okay. I think hiking and that hotel. I'm going to show two outro videos for you and enjoy it. And then I'll see you at the Edward Snowden show in a few minutes. So, how did you like that one?
I love it. The Dutch drone gods, right? That's
Yeah.
like really cool. Really cool. Looks like really great. I like the brand too.
Yeah. So, we're
Drone
doing
gods.
the last one and we're saying bye over here. And it was lovely to have you, Jay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Later. Huh?
Cheers.